Am I the asshole for kicking my boyfriend out during a pandemic and calling his mom to come get him? I, 30 female, let my boyfriend, Jesse, 39 male, come live with me and my niece-nephew, who I have custody of, a year before this pandemic mess, so he moved in around the start of 2019, but we'd been dating since 2016. I own a modest 3-bedroom home, left to me by my mom, that I have to pay all utilities, property tax, etc. on. No mortgage thank God, but everything else I pay. His lease was coming to an end soon and we decided he'd come live with us for a year to see if we'd work out as a married couple. I'd discussed it with my niece and nephew and they were all right with it, since it was a test. Things went well for most of 2019, he paid for part of the utilities and helped around the house. But long story short, he lost his job at the end of 2019 and didn't try looking for a new one. He said he was, but I don't see how he had time between his day-long gaming sessions. He lived off his savings until they dried up. Stopped helping out around the house and just turned into a couch potato. But the absolute worst thing was when he'd flip out when he was losing one of his games. He'd rage and scream. He knows I can't handle men screaming, like at all. I talked to him and told him he couldn't act that way in my house. He got all teary and apologized and did better. For a week. Then he was right back to his shit behavior. It freaked my niece and nephew out. There's a reason I have custody of them. And around August the first finally snapped at him and said if he didn't get his crap together he was gone. He cried and said he was trying and things were so hard right now and he basically guilted me into feeling bad for him. I told him he had 1 month to get himself together. Clean himself up, stop laying on the couch all day, do stuff around the house, look for any kind of work, etc. or he was out. He sniffled and said okay. Nothing changed. He took a shower but kept up the gaming, the rage quitting, not looking for a job, everything. Well, 1 month after that I told him I was done and he needed to get out that day. He turned on the waterworks again but I was done so I called his mom to come get him. She came around, she could hear him sobbing in the background I'm sure, and it was a huge fucking scene. Turns out he'd been lying about having a job. She shamed him into getting up and packing everything of his and leaving with her. I took his key and he gave me the most hate-filled glare on his way out. He told our friends and they said I was heartless for kicking him out mid-pandemic. And that I embarrassed him by calling his mom like that. I thought I handled it maturely but they're all saying I'm the asshole and handled it badly. So am I the asshole? Edit. I just sent a detailed message about everything that happened to the group Discord all our mutual friends chat on. I didn't spare a single detail and even told them if they didn't believe me to call his mom, she knows what's up. I'll see what they have to say. Edit 2. Well, one of our mutual friends heard my side of the breakup, yes we are broken up now, and went to go talk to him and she grilled him over text about what he said, what I said and he eventually broke down and admitted he'd lied and had been for a while. She in turn posted the screenshots of him admitting he'd lied to try and make me look like the bad guy. Our friends aren't amused, and all of them apologized to me, both in the chat and via call, for jumping the gun without hearing my side first. I've forgiven them but let them know having them treat me like that without even seeing what I had to say first hurt a lot since I tried for months to get Jesse to get help but he refuses. Things are better on the friend front but Jesse keeps trying to private message me and I haven't looked at any of them. Honestly, I just don't want to talk to him for a while. I'm very tired and want to just enjoy my now clean and quiet house. And to those concerned, my niece and nephew are both doing much better. They're both not cooped up in their rooms anymore and are doing their Zoom classes in the kitchen without worry of embarrassment. Not the asshole. Don't feel bad about your behavior for a second. He's an immature baby. I can't believe he's almost 40. Nope, not the asshole. He should have been given the boot earlier. Especially for his behavior that scared the children. He's just embarrassed his mom found out he's been a leech off a single mom for so long. And he doesn't want his friends to know either that he essentially acts like a toddler all day. Not the asshole. He should have respected you and your home more. Pandemic or not, behaving this way, especially in front of children, is a no-go. Not the asshole. Your friends are idiots. This guy is almost 40. While it's clear he's probably dealing with severe depression, he was also aggressive, manipulative, and a liar. You were kind to give him a month. I don't know what they'd rather you do, kick him out on the street? Not the asshole, you were kinder than you needed to be. Not the asshole, thank goodness you got rid of him up. Don't take him back. He can go live with his mommy permanently if he wants to act like that. And I hope he still isn't your BF. Not the asshole. No way. It sounds like you looked forward to sharing your house and life with an equal, instead you got a third child. Who acted more like a child than the actual children. Not the asshole, the biggest thing is your niece and nephew. You have to protect them and do right by them, and exposing them to a mooch who yells and freaks them out is the wrong thing. Also, you deserve a partner, not a mooch. Not the asshole. The guy wasn't doing anything. Even if he wasn't working, he should have been helping out around the house. Having rage issues while gaming and scaring the rest of the household is unacceptable at any age. So not the asshole. Best laugh I've had all day. I lived with married one of those. For 15 years I put up with the lying. Not my fault. On every lost job. Pawning my stuff to get beer $cause I wouldn't give him what we didn't have. Raising 2 young kids, worst sod dad ever. Couldn't even do laundry, cook dinner, dishes, all while I worked over 40 hours. I love that you called his mom and she just packed his stuff lol. I threw him out in 2003, still living with parents and unemployed lol. You dodged a life of hell, atta girl. Not the asshole at all. Years ago, I broke up with a guy. He called me later to say he had his car on the train tracks and was going to kill himself. I called his mother and she dealt with him. Why do these men expect us to mother them? Why don't they grow up? Not the asshole. Sounds like you dodged a bullet. Not the asshole. I suspect he embellished quite a bit when he told his side of the story. Good riddance. I am sorry you didn't get rid of him sooner. I had a friend flip out on me once during a vacation and I flew back home and ended contact with her. It took 4 years, but she flipped out again, and how her entire family and the remnants of friends that she has have seen how awful she is. I don't get these guys who move into someone else's house and start acting like it's their house. I read stories on here all the time, and at least some are true as I've heard it in real life too. Just stop doing anything, start acting like shit, start trying to make rules and say how it's going to go, or even try to literally take the house and kick the owner out. Just, how do they have the balls? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Good thing that you were able to get him out without going the eviction route. I agree with the other posters. Don't let this guy back into your house for any reason. Not the asshole. Good job, and good job his mother. Not the asshole. You did the best for your niece and nephew. There is a history behind that, which there is no need to tell, but it seems bad if you have custody, and they are your first priority, not some lazy 39-year-old man who is raging over video games. And he isn't paying rent anymore, so yay. Not the asshole. You were right to drop him like a bad habit, or rather, one of his many bad habits. Not the asshole, and I'm willing to bet he will still be in his mom's basement a year from now raging at his games. I'm probably the asshole though, because my mental picture of his mom coming to get him and his stuff and him leaving with her made me laugh until I snorted. Haha, OMG, not the asshole, and WTF. This man is nearly 40 acting like that. I wanna puke. Anytime a man cries to you and begs like that, he is lying. Your friends are on his side because he controlled the narrative. He's a manipulator and not even smart enough to wait until he was off probation. What a stupid asshole. Jesus, not the asshole. He seems insanely immature. Have your friends replied to the message you sent them? Not the asshole. Change your locks, just in case. It's not like you kicked him out with nowhere to go. He was emotionally all over the place, not contributing financially or physically around the house, and your first priority are those children, who he was starting to scare. It was a trial run, and clearly didn't work. You told him what would happen if he didn't get his shit together, and he didn't. Tough shit. Not the asshole. I'm damn proud of both you and his mom. Sorry your friends don't like it, but I'm sure they got an alternate story, and they frankly did not have to live with it all that time, so they can hardly judge properly. I'm relieved you decided to do a trial run to see if you were compatible enough for marriage. Be happy all this happened before the ring. Not the asshole you ggmave him chance after chance and your friends can financially support him for the better part of a year while he games all day and screams whenever he loses. The thing is, even if he couldn't work, he could cook, clean, watch over the kids, be an asset. But what he actually was a leech. He took and got mad at you when you were done. Let the people who sympathize know the truth, and if they still give you shit, tell them to support his freeloading ass then. I only say you should inform your mutual friends about the other behavior, because if he was lying to his mom, he is most likely lying to them too. Because no one would put up with this shit. NTA, he became a giant leech and you pulled it off. Now it's time to heal and get past that. He's not worth the time or effort. Let his mama put a fire under his ass to be an adult. Not the asshole. He probably has a different version of events that he told the friends. A ex-friend of mine told my friend that our friendship ended because of gravy. What he didn't tell was that he got mad that I said he was an angry person and flipped a table and told me to get out. Not the asshole. You expected a functioning adult and instead got an irresponsible child. I do wonder if he was depressed and that interfered with him doing anything effective, but I am guessing that isn't the case or you would have mentioned it. Not the asshole. I bet that the reason why people are siding with your ex-boyfriend is because he gave a sad sob story where he was the innocent victim who tried his best to support you and you were the ungrateful ex-GF. Not the asshole. My ex, who was just like this, was pissed because I came home early to surprise him and spend the rest of the day together. Well, I open out apartment door as he was heading out and he say, "What the hell are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I think I live here, but anyways," I said, "if you're going out I can come and I'll get us some dinner." Oh no, that wasn't allowed. I should have known, because who gets all dressed up and smelling good to go across the street and pay a bill? Basically we got into a pretty nasty argument and I called my dad to come get me and my ex hid in the bedroom closet from him. But he was physically, mentally, and financially abusive. The video games took precedent over everything else. So I won. 000% state that you are not the I wish all men came with a return to mommy policy. Good for you that you were smart enough to do a test and to make the right choices when he turned out to be a dud. Not the asshole. Am I the only one who thinks every time an op claims people are calling them the asshole when they clearly aren't, is totally made up? No way anyone took this guy's side. Not the asshole. Something almost made me say something about you not doing man screaming, but then you mentioned. It freaked my niece and nephew out. There's a reason I have custody of them. And it clicked in my head. Dude probably went down the defeatist roller coaster and needs to get himself together. Also not sure if anybody noticed, but he was lying to his mom about having a job. Why though? Needs a good wake-up call. Not the asshole. No one bit. A 39-year-old man who has to be picked up by his mom because his gaming habits got him kicked out by his partner. He should be embarrassed. Not the asshole. Good for you for doing what needed to be done. We aren't, mid-pandemic, anymore. He isn't homeless, and you need to protect the children under your care. His friends can say all the bullshit they want. After all, they only know what he's told them, that you kick him out. Thank your lucky star, because his mum sounds like she didn't buy it. She's been lied to, not likely to let him off easily. Please don't let the couch potato back in your life. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You ain't do nothing wrong. You can't tell a man how to be a man. He was apparently mooching off of you since he was apparently lying about having a job. He stopped paying for stuff and was only playing video games. Plus, you didn't embarrass him. He embarrassed himself since he starts crying when you have to adult him, not to mention he threw a tantrum loud enough for his probably 60-something-year-old mother to hear. Like, grow TF up, dude. You dodged a bullet. Please don't take him back. You already have 2 kids. You don't need an adult one. Not the asshole. At almost 40 years old he's complaining about you embarrassing him in front of his mommy who he's been lying to? This is a major problem. Not the asshole. He acted like a child. You called his mommy. He should be embarrassed. Not the asshole. Nobody should have to handle men screaming, aside from perhaps sports players and people who work at the stock exchange. It's the precursor to most of the violence in life. I know almost nobody that doesn't have at least some trauma response to it. If you did anything wrong, it was exposing your niece and nephew to it as long as you did. He's an adult and has his mom at least. They're vulnerable and only have you. The other stuff blows too. Bravo. Not the asshole. NTA. He's a mooch that scares your kids. He needed to go. He embarrassed himself by not taking any responsibility for his actions and scaring children that already came from a rough place and needed a safe home. He needs a lot of growing up to do. Good riddance. Who cares what they think? They can live with him. Not the asshole in any way. You're taking care of one kid. No need to have a baby in the form of a grown man, as well. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. And girl, change your locks and install a security camera. You can never be too careful. Not the asshole. What did do was dodge a bullet. Chances are his mother is going to lay down a few new rules for him. Not the asshole. You gave him many more chances to clean up his act that most of us would. He's lucky his mom came and got him. You're lucky you could close that door. Not the asshole. By the way, what game was he playing? Not the asshole. Sure, pandemic is hard and intimidating to try to find a job during. But you said he lost his job in 2019. That means he had some of 2019, as well as nearly 3 months of 2020 that he could have been out there looking for something. However, he chose not to. And he chose not to do anything again and again and again every time you spoke to him. He also failed to assist in basic chores around the house. He absolutely was not pulling his weight as an adult, nor as someone who would be in a co-parenting role if you married. Shouting and yelling because of a video game, when you know that doing so immensely distresses the children living in your home, is not acceptable. You gave him plenty of chances. It isn't your fault he didn't use them. Not the asshole. I once befriended a woman who was very bitter and exhausted, because her boyfriend did exactly what yours did, except for 4 years. It must be nice. No work, no rent, no responsibility. Just video games. What about a pandemic makes you kicking him out worse? He's got his mommy and her house. If anything, the pandemic means you should be way more picky about who lives with you. Good riddance. That woman I met broke up with her boyfriend way late, but I'd never seen someone happier and lighter than she was once he was out of her home. Not the asshole. Good for you for standing your ground. An apology without change is just manipulation. His embarrassment came from his actions. He lied about the job. He chose not to make the changes that he agreed to. He chose not to leave when you asked him to. Better his mother than the police.